So here's the deal. You know, a lot of people just, oh man, they put these celebrities through the ringer, boy. In some people's world, it's like celebrities can not do any right. It's like celebrities equal the Antichrist to some people. It's really insane. It's like no matter what they do, it's like they can never do enough. They can never give enough. It's like, give me more, you know. It's like some people are like energy vampires to celebrities. It's like no matter what they do, you know, they can just never get it right for some of us. So recently, my man Kanye West had what some would say was a breakdown. You know, he was going through some things and he had to be committed, I guess. You know, he had to go get a little help, make sure he was okay, get evaluated or whatever. He's brought in, you know, for psychiatric treatment evaluations or whatever. And other celebrities have flipped out in the past as well. You know, different people handle it different ways. And I remember when Britney Spears flipped out, there was a guy named Chris Crocker. He was a YouTuber. And he cried on camera and he said, "Leave Britney alone. She's a human." And I was like, damn, tell him, Chris Crocker. You know, my girl Britney Spears was flipping out at the time. And thankfully he spoke up for her. A lot of people made fun of him for the way that he went about it because he was so over the top and everything and flamboyant about it. But the God's honest truth is everything that he was saying was fact. Britney Spears is human and she deserves way more respect than what people were giving her at the time. People were treating her like she was a piece of damn meat. You know, they forget that these celebrities have feelings. They're just like us. Just because they're rich, they're famous, just because they're known, it doesn't mean that they're not human. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? My girl Priscilla Rainey from She Got Game, the alleged sexual assault victim, you know, she said people need to think, which is an acronym, THINK, which stands for, is what you're saying true? Is what you're saying helpful? Is what you're saying inspiring? Is what you're saying necessary? Is what you're saying kind? Think before you speak. Make sure it's true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. Because, you know, a lot of people have been victims of cyberbullying. Celebrities are, you know, people talk about regular, everyday people. But let me tell you, these celebrities, boy, some of them just get it the worst. So here's what my girl K. Michelle from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 5, because she quit the show. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 5 had to say about it. K. Michelle wrote the following on Instagram. Now, she posted an image of a hand which was basically cut into pieces and then put back together with people, I guess, of different ethnicity. So if you wanted to see that picture, you would have to visit my blog or whatever. It's up there. But here's what she said with that image. "I've never seen so many fucking mauled, miffed, aggrieved, and mentally injured humans together in this one place called social media. I'll never be judgmental and offer my verdict to anyone because I am not perfect. If all you do is sit on social media site and bash your very own people who are put in a place to evoke situations for you and you destroy them for your entertainment, it's sick. You mad at Trump but didn't even vote. So stop posting about him to fit in and be funny. Stop tearing down Azealia Banks. That woman honestly is the most talented, articulate female rapper out. Her approach may not be what you like, but let her have an opinion and be who she is. You don't know anything about her and what she's going through. That's your sister. She bleeds the blood of our ancestors. Leave Chris Brown the fuck alone. Yes, he made a mistake, but unlike my abuser, he apologized and got help. And even after that, we allowed the media to crucify this man instead of at least forming a prayer circle. He is talented. Of course, they don't want him great. To watch how the media attempted to destroy Nate Parker so that the truth of that movie wasn't told, and you all fell for it. Some black women said, "I'm not watching the movie because his wife is white." What the fuck does that have to do with going to pay tribute to the great Nat Turner who fought for you motherfuckers to go and be set free from captivity? Do you think at a time like this, when we are being murdered on camera, that they want you to see a movie about black people actually sticking together and revolting against the unjust? You fell for it. Kanye West is our brother, and regardless of his statements, he spoke several truths about this industry. You will never understand unless you are a part of it. You don't have to agree with him, but don't destroy that man. It's not funny. And you aren't God. And you can't usher out his life verdict. And these little kids, get your ass off the computer and read a book. Stop fucking with Keisha Cole. What's so funny about bringing down an artist that sold millions and helped you through real heartbreak with your nothing ass man? Use your own brain. Uplift your people. I said what I said. I will speak the truth. I'm learning. Damn, K. Michelle. Man, she said a lot, man. Where do I even begin? Because there's a lot of stuff to discuss here. I mean, a lot of it I agree with. A lot of it I didn't agree with, actually. But I guess I should break it down for you guys. First of all, she said, you mad at Trump, but you didn't even vote, so stop posting about him to fit in and be funny. Here's the deal. This whole, telling people, unless you voted, you don't have a voice, that's nonsensical. Your voice doesn't stop at whether or not you vote. Everybody has a voice, period. If that's the case, what you're saying is that people who aren't old enough to vote, opinions don't count because they didn't vote either. So if somebody's 17 years old, they can say the most profound thing in the world, but it's like, oh, I don't want to hear what they have to say because they can't even vote. They might be giving us the master key, but it doesn't even matter because you're not old enough to vote, so your opinion, your thoughts don't matter. That's like saying that people don't matter. So this whole, you didn't vote, so shut up thing, that's just something that people say because they heard other people say. This is something that people repeat without stopping to think like, does that really make any damn sense to say? If that's the case, then we should never critique other people's countries and they should never critique us, even though we could learn something from each other by exchanging this information. We shouldn't, because if you're not a citizen of wherever they're from, of their particular country, some foreign country, you can't vote there. Same thing with somebody who's not a citizen of the United States. So therefore, seeing you can't vote in each other's elections, it's like, how can we critique politics that go on around the world, and how can people critique us, basically? So that's not a very wise idea, but that's just, like I said, that's just something that people repeat that they've heard before. But let me see. Stop tearing down Azealia Banks. That woman honestly is the most talented, articulate female rapper out. Her approach may not be what you like, but let her have an opinion and be who she is. This is the same woman who said stuff about wanting to kill black men and wanting Wale to go to jail, right? Azealia Banks is a snake. She allegedly attacked multiple people. She's not somebody we need representing us. Let's not make excuses for Azealia Banks. We need to consider her to be trash and just leave her all of the way alone. We need to leave her out on the side of the road. There's we need to clean up in our race. And honestly, the number one black woman that I'm willing to say, no thank you to, is Azealia Banks. She's just freaking pathetic. The stuff that she says talking about killing black men, and what, she's supposed to be pro-black or something. It's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. She's a joke. She should just that heifer should just disappear. Let me see. Leave Chris Brown the fuck alone. And she talked about how talented Chris Brown is and how the media attempted to destroy him. Let me tell you something right now. The media hates Chris Brown. You have all these white men who are celebrities who have been linked to different domestic violence situations. And let me get started on the women. If you're a woman and you hit a man, it's just like, forget about it. Nobody gives a shit. But you have all of these men, unfortunately, I mean, I care, of course. And I'm pretty sure Tupac cares. But anyways, at the end of the day, you have all these white men who have been connected to different domestic violence situations. Do I even have to name names? Do I have to do it? And that, of course, goes right under the radar, right under everybody's nose. It's like, it doesn't really get discussed. It's like, yeah, it happened, so, get over it. It happened a long time ago. Why are we still talking about this? Excuses are made, or it's just flat out not talked about. So that's why you guys, if I started naming names, you'd probably be like, really? That happened? I might have to make a separate video where I actually name names and talk about different situations. A lot of crazy shit is going down. As far as Chris Brown and Rihanna, I always felt like as if he was either defending himself or there was at least much more to the story. I'm pretty sure that she wasn't just sitting there being beat on. I highly doubt that. You got to think about who Rihanna is. I remember when they caught her on video hitting somebody in the crowd at one of her shows. I think she had the microphone in her hand, and she was like hitting the person in the head or something. And I'm just like, what? Rihanna's a sweet, innocent little lamb and a victim. She would never hurt anybody. There's always, another side to the story. And I'm not going to name any other violent black women, as I just remember something. But let me shut my mouth. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus right now. Let me see what else K. Michelle said here. She said, that some black women didn't want to watch the Nat Turner movie, which is a very important part in history that we should all know about. But a lot of black women were like, you know what? I don't want to watch that damn Nat Turner movie by Nate Parker because he was accused of raping some white woman years ago. And then also, like K. Michelle pointed out, white girl. This is when he was like 17. I think she was 17 as well. Accused, remember, not guilty, but accused. He was, he wasn't found guilty of whatever was alleged. But his wife is white. And a lot of black women, I saw this on social media myself. They were like, I'm not watching this stinking ass movie. I'm not watching this crap. His wife is white. Fuck Nate Parker. And I was like, really? You're not going to watch an important historical piece because his wife is white? Now, it's like, dude, if you don't... Okay, it's like, if he writes a memoir, don't buy the book. But that movie was extremely important. The media literally set this dude up. First of all, was it Fox? It was I'm pretty sure it was Fox that bought, I guess, the rights to the movie or whatever. And I remember I sat back and I said, how the fuck why were they even allowed to make a bid? Like, if it was me, like, I would have been like, no, your money's not good here. Fuck no, not y'all. Hell no. You're not going to touch my film. My vision is not going to be ruined. Absolutely not. But anyways, let me see. That movie was extremely important. I mean, we're talking about a revolt. Something that white supremacists say never happened. They'll say things like, how come when black people were slaves, there was never any revolt? How come black people never fought back? Like, literally, white people say this. They never heard about what happened in Haiti, apparently. Your ancestors remember that shit. They just rolled over there. They just rolled over in their graves and gave me the middle finger simultaneously, but that's none of my business. But anyways, the point is this, though. Nat Turner is my hero. Like, literally, there should be like little superhero figurines of Nat Turner. Some people say this celebrity or sports figure or whatever is the hero. No, fool. Nat Turner is my hero. But anyways, like my girl K. Michelle said, black folks, generally black men, are being murdered on freaking camera. And do you think that they wanted you to see a movie about a revolt where black people stuck together? You really think that they wanted you to see that? She was spot on. And there were people doing anything and everything that they could within their power to stop that movie from being successful, including a lot of black women on these different news programs. Throwing him all under the bus. Don't even know the man. And I'm going to tell y'all flat out like this. Forget about Nate Parker. I watched that movie 50 times because of what the movie is, what it represents. Hell, even Gabrielle Union came out running her fucking mouth. She could have waited to say what she had to say until after the movie was a success. She could have said, yeah, watch the movie, I'm in it. Ask me questions after the movie becomes number one in the box office. Wink, wink. And I'll tell you what you want to know. But no, she went saying things that could be considered to be damaging by some. Talking about her personal story, her personal life. Like, what does your personal life have to do with the damn movie? Everybody who went against that movie was a selfish pig. I'm sorry to say it. You're all a bunch of selfish pigs. That movie was so important to black people, like more important than a lot of you could ever fathom. But let me tell you something. I promise you this. There will be other versions of the Nat Turner story coming, and they won't be able to stop it. There will be 1 or 2 or 3 that will be bigger, a lot bigger, and have the impact that film was supposed to have. It will happen in the future. I feel it. It's like I just know it intuitively. But anyways, like she said, regardless of what Kanye, had said, because Kanye has said some controversial shit, he's exposed stuff in the industry that a lot of people would never talk about, man. He risked his career and he even risked his life. Remember when Hurricane Katrina was going on and my man Kanye West stood up there with Mike Myers, Mr. Austin Powers himself, and he said George Bush doesn't care about black people? And he said when white people were finding food, it was called finding food, and when black people were depicted with food, where there was a picture, video, whatever, they were saying that they were obviously looting. Kanye West is exposing stuff like that on live television, when most of these celebrities would have just shut up. They might have thought that, but they wouldn't have dared risk their career. You got to think about it like this. Kanye West's first album, College Dropout, came out in 2004. 2005 was when Hurricane Katrina happened, right? So this is when his career was very, very young. I'm pretty sure, what was it called, Late Registration, did not come out yet. I'm pretty sure he put it out after that. So we're talking about a guy who's on his second album, whether it was just released or it was released after that or whatever. A guy who didn't even have a second album out good was risking his career, his dream, his passion to be a rapper. When people told him, shut up, get off the microphone, just produce beats. You don't need to be a damn rapper too. You're great at making beats, Kanye. Produce records for other people and just shut up. And he said, no, I want to have a voice. And he risked his career. He laid it all out on the line for us. He didn't have to say that. He brought awareness to things most celebrities would have just turned their back on and said, I'm not going to lose any money over saying that shit. I'm not going to lose any of these good old corporate sponsorships or anything. Absolutely not. Kanye West has told us behind the scenes shit like, oh, I asked Mark Zuckerberg for $53 million. Listen, that's some shit that a celebrity would do but would never want you to know. Ever. If anything, they would do anything within their power to make sure you didn't find something like that out. But Kanye West has laid a lot out on the table. Like I remember people thought that he was losing his mind when he was being interviewed by Sway, and he was talking about the fashion industry, and he was like, man, in so many words, he was like, these people don't want to let people in. It's like, he didn't word it like this. At least I don't think he worded it like this from what I remember. But it's like a damn fashion secret society. It's like they have their system. It's already set up. It's already in place. And it's like, this shit is ours. You go figure it out on your own. I mean, he's a freaking celebrity. He's a genius. His shoe was basically outselling everybody else's shoe, his sneakers. And you would think, well, these people will be willing to work with him because, I mean, if you're number one, if you're basically running shit, then, like they say, if you can't beat them, join them. And even when he was winning, they were still like, so that's nothing. Like, he wasn't even doing it. Even when you're number one, they're still looking at you like, you're still not one of us. We're still better. It's not about what you can do. It's about who you are. And you're not one of us. It's either you're one of them or you're one of them. That's the way that they treated him. Like, you're just an outsider. You're not in this inner circle thing here. You're not one of us. No matter what you did. No matter how well your shoe did. You're sorry, Kanye. And what Kanye was trying to convey to Sway, Sway was like, well, why don't you just do it on your own? And like Kanye said, you don't have the answers. You got to understand something. It's easy to say, well, if you want to do something, why not just do it on your own? Like when we talk about how black people don't have this and black people don't have that. Well, how come black people don't have their own car companies? And then come to find out, the white people who have them got all types of loans or grants or whatever, and they get bailed out when things go wrong. The fucking government will bail them out. Do you really think if black people own all of those different auto companies, do you really think they would have been bailed out? You really think the government would have been willing to put up billions to help them? Or do you think it would have been called welfare? Corporate welfare. See what I'm saying? Sometimes you're just left out there on your own. I mean, in general, but if you're black, if you're a black male, forget about it. Like they try to really put Kanye through the ringer. You know, they've done everything that they could to basically make this man flip out. And personally, in my personal opinion, I don't think that Kanye West is crazy. I think the people who think Kanye is crazy are crazy. And you know, the thing about Kanye that makes him so dangerous to the system is he's not this negative stereotype. As much as they want to make him seem as negative as possible. Look, he's married to a white woman, or look, Kanye West is egotistical. He's so full of himself. But Kanye West has never been connected to violence. As far as I know, from what I can remember, Kanye West has never been arrested. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Kanye West is pro-gay, so they can't do the whole he's against homosexuals thing. He's very pro, so they can't pull that shit on him. He dresses like a quote-unquote thug. He's the Louis Vuitton Don, so they can't pull that bullshit. Let me see what's another one. He hates women. He's abusive to women. Oh, his mother was his best friend. Oops. They can't pull that one. He's a misogynist. Shit wouldn't work. You know, he's Kanye West is so not a negative stereotype. So that makes him so dangerous to the system. I fucking love Kanye West because he's on some old other shit. And those people who think that they run things, they know what's up. They look at Kanye West and they're like, oh, this Negro. You know, they can't say he's fresh out the hood and comes from this terrible environment. If I'm not mistaken, he was like middle class or whatever. His mother was a teacher. It just, you know, if I'm not mistaken, he went to Japan when he was like a kid or something. Like, I don't know if he was like a foreign exchange. I don't remember exactly what happened. If I'm not mistaken, he, you know, so he's well traveled. He's educated, you know what I mean? Like, he, even though he dropped out of college, but to pursue his music career, and as you can see, worked out pretty freaking well for him. But the point is this, man. Forget the ego. Yeezus is what people thought Tupac was. Tupac was honestly bad for black people. If you really look at Kanye West, all of the different aspects of him, it's a wonder how he's actually still alive at the moment. He's done a lot of things that were against the grain, if you know what I mean, for anybody who's paying attention. But I'll make a separate video discussing Kanye West. I'm going to make probably like it might even be an hour long. I don't even know yet. But I'm going to ramble about Kanye West, and I'm going to have like the different quotes that he said and I'm going to go in because it really needs to be discussed. The importance of Kanye West. That might be the title, the importance of Kanye West Kardashian. But anyways, the point is this though. All of this bashing celebrities, it doesn't really help anybody. A lot of people think that they can vent on celebrities because they're like, well, I'm gonna throw these darts at them because so and so is so rich that they're bulletproof. You know, I can't hurt your feelings. You're too rich to be human. Like literally, it's like people think that you reach a certain level of being wealthy, and it's like you've bought something that's beyond humanity. Like you don't have feelings anymore. It's like what Pusha T said. And what song was that? I think the song was Ego on the first Clips album, Lord Willin', who's ironically signed to Kanye West. And Pusha T said, money is my morals. Other than that, I'm soulless. And I think that's the way that people look at celebrities. They're like, look, you got too much money to be worried about what I'm saying. They think that money fixes all problems. For some people, it causes more problems. Some people, they remain the same. Then there's people like me who are rich and have $14 million and don't have any problems, except for those stupid ass comments that you motherfuckers leave sometime. But this is all my opinion. What do I know? I'm just an asshole with a microphone. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine, Meat Magazine 7 on Google Plus, and Meat Magazine blog on Instagram. Excuse me for rambling like I do when I'm eating your mother's coochie. I be like Orlando Brown said. Meat Magazine.